Or am I froze? Oh, okay. Modems will be modems. I'll be back, Annie. Anyway. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go around and say, what are you doing this evening? Right? And then what's your plan for the next 10 day? How about that? So, Vespera, what are you doing this evening? Are you going to attend the party? There'll be a somber funeral kind of situation, and then as dwarves do, you're going to hear the bagpipes going, and it's going to get wild. They're gonna heal through alcohol, which is I wouldn't recommend that, but you know what I mean. But or do. What's that point?
We have one minor, and I know this is minor for everybody. None of us can get drunk anymore.
Oh yeah.
We are immune to poison, so we are the best drinkers in the whole entire world.
I would say.
Wow.
Drinking competition, go.
Can get buzzed, but they don't get a hangover anymore. How about that?
Oh,
They don't.
Yeah,
they
we
don't
can't get
affect
alcohol
from the
poisoning.
negative parts of alcohol. Paylor, you know what I mean? Like hooked you up with like, yeah, but you can get super smashed though if you want.
we're gonna be so cool at AA.
Yeah. Kids, don't watch this episode. Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, Vespera, what would you like to do this evening? You want to attend the party, the funeral, go hang out in Gallengrim?
I'm attending it all. I want to be there to pay respects to those who died in our valiant battle, who, paid with their lives, unfortunately. And then, party with the team because we did, we're freaking badass heroes. We saved the world, as you said, to hopefully get a little bit buzzed. And then think about my future about being is it the Marchioness of Waterdeep? Is that my title?
I think you were a countess. You were a countess of Underlake, right?
Underlake. Yep. Yeah. Think about moving forward with Underlake as the countess of there, and who I can make connections with.
None better than the dwarves that you're sitting there.
Exactly.
Brunor's got this wooden shield, and it's got like a mug on the front of it on a shield, and from behind his shield, he just reaches and just grabs these big flagons of ale from behind this thing, and you can see behind the shield. There's nothing there, but as soon as he reaches behind the shield, another mug of beer just comes out of this thing, and he lines them up for everybody, and he looks over his shoulder and is like, oh, Turgar, blah blah blah. And as dwarves do, from what was it, The Hobbit, they have this great contract, and he's ready to sign trade agreements, in perpetual perpetuity or whatever, from Gauntlgrim to Underlake, to get trade back and forth, like your fish and food, right? Because it's a lot of rocks here. That if you know what I mean, fish and food and things like that.
And safe travels now that I have a dragon turtle.
That's okay. So you're gonna use the dragon turtle as a form of your 18-wheeler.
Basically, yeah.
Oh my
Nice.
god.
They discover the barge that the Vonindod came in on, and you guys sit there, and the dwarves are like, okay, we can use the dragon turtle to hook up to this barge, drag the barge back and forth, and they're talking about the money that's going to be flowing in is just going to be it's going to be great for Gauntlgrim and things like that. Also the Kings of Mithril Hall are there as well, and they sign it as well. So at least 2 dwarven strongholds, and I'm sure Point would sign at the same time. You're hearing in Point, you're up next. So you're on deck, then Gwyn, but you're hearing all of this. Brunor, obviously placating to the heroes of Gauntlgrim. What would you like to do? Are you attending the funeral and then the party afterwards?
Yeah, I'm attending the funeral. I think I've come down from the high of what's actually happened now, but before the party starts, I present Brunner with the heart of the Vonindod. and sort of sit down and sort of say to him that we might have saved today, we might have been here to stop the Megrim, but without Gauntled Grim and your warriors holding this for as long as it does, it wouldn't have happened. It's a team effort. I don't care that we finished off the blow. We did that without you guys. This is all for nothing. And as I'll do that, I will lean in and sort of I'll call him my king, because he always was my king before I became king. Weirdly,
Yeah.
And sort of go. I still haven't found Thistledorp. I will be finding him, and I will be putting him to rest. But I have found his armor.
Granddad was here. I seen him. He receded when those weird shadows sucked into the walls. He was there. He was standing, and he points, and he's like, his image was there. He says, "Me king." He's my king. I've been called. I've been called to Neverwinter. That's his last words. He said, "You got to defend the throne." I'm not sure.
Well, we'll see what happens coming forward. But for now, this is where histories are made. This is where I'll say this is where dwarven bonds are forged. For now, let's live in this moment. Let's go forth and show what unity finally means for the dwarven kingdoms of the north. Now that I'm sure you're aware that I have been crowned king of Akbar, it was unexpected. It was a real turn of events. It was a real turn of events. But now is not a time for us to fall back and into our holes and stay ununited. This is now, we have an opportunity now to finally be whole as a dwarven race, and this will be a starting point, not an end point by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, he goes on and on about how never have all of the dwarves been united as much as they have been now. He describes that Felbar is basically in ruins. It took a beating from the giants. Mithril Hall with Dagnabbit barely made it through. Within, if you stay in the 10-day, he lets you know. He's like, yeah, Dagnabbit will she'll be here, as he nods. Rumors spread fast. Are you gonna take the offer? I'll leave that to you. You know what I mean? But
I promised her I had a quest to do, and that quest is still not over.
Of course.
A man of my word, and I always have been.
You do notice that they are piling up all of the loot that they had. There's shiny stuff over here, and imagine they're just piling up this big thing of your guys' D100 roll or whatever that you can see there. But he demands that you take your fair share. You know what I mean? Like, he's pretty confident that Gauntled will be fine. It's not like the biggest place, but it is the first house of the dwarves. So like, he's proud to sit there, and you see him, sitting in this throne often. And there's a weird energy near the throne. As you get close to it, you feel a resistance to being able to actually sit there properly, because there can, you know what I mean? It's like there's only one king that can sit there, right? You have to be the bloodline. If you've read the books, only what's his face can sit there. But
so I give him the heart of the Vonindod and say, display this well. This deserves to stay in Gauntled.
Like, your clan defeated the Vonindod, but what I will do is craft a nice throne for you and put this on the pinnacle, and we'll have her shipped to you.
I would be rude to say no to a most amazing gesture is that? Thank you, my
Rude
king.
to say no to a brother. And he pulls from behind the shield, a mug, and you just, in like one swallow, it's just gone, and then he kind of sits there and he brings up, it's just like there's a scene where it's you, Torgar, you know what I mean? Like, right, Torgar left Mithril Hall as the previous king, so like it's just three dwarven kings kind of sitting there discussing the future, and Dagnabbit returns in the evening, but she's dismissively in love with you. You know what I mean? She's very confident in her swagger, but she's holding out. She's holding out for Point. Let's see what's going on in chat. We're getting free viewers. All right, so let's see. Gwen, you're kind of watching this stuff going on. Do you partake in the funerals and things like that? The Seraphim stood there for a while, but the Seraphim, just like Ironforge, and almost just like El Terrell itself, finds a stalagmite, and at the top of it leaves a shining sun, above it, and it lights the entire battlefield, which is like the killing grounds to one of the best citadels in the world. So not only is Paylor providing light, but there is no way to get into this place to seek cover without being seen. Right? So like this light floats out there, you know what I mean, forever outside of Gauntlebrim, just like inside Ironforge.
Nice. I take acknowledgement of it, and kind of smirk at it. And at the same time, yes, I will be going and joining the festivities and the funerals and all of these things, paying my respects to the fallen, lending prayer where prayer and healing be needed, and just looking out for whoever else may need my service while I'm still around this area.
You're hearing lots of they do owe you guys like that fortress. You know what I mean? From Felbar, the Felbar guys were going to build a tower on top of what was it, Icespire Peaks? But since you know what I mean, like that's not really required anymore, they'll lend to help you build this cathedral in Sundabar and help you with the markets there if you so wish.
Absolutely, sure.
Hey Raz, thanks for the resub.
And if I do hear any more news about the bishop thing and so on, I'll take it.
Okay. Yep.
So,
if you take it, they'll be like, hey, in the next, please return to Waterdeep to go to the Cathedral of Waterdeep. Well, you'll be what is it, coronated? What is that? What is the word that when priests get elevated to whatever? But you'll go there to the the great Cathedral of Waterdeep to get that. Well, let's not get stuck on stupid on it. Whatever that word is.
Right, yeah, that one. There's a word for it, but it left me puzzled for a second.
And you guys are all invited to return to Waterdeep as well for the Lord's Alliance and things like that. If you guys so wish to watch his elevation to, to bishophood as well. Which is kind of cool because Vokath in the other party was going to become the Bishop of Neverwinter, but he was like, yeah, nah, and he trekked off. So there's other opportunities to check in on the other parties and stuff like that as well. And you get the sense over the next 10 days, you hear about nearby this Kraken was fought, right close to you, basically where you guys crossed over into the Elderbrain. Was below that was the Kraken fight. It was happening right then. Like during the fight, a black dragon like falls from the ceiling and splooshes into the ground as you guys like kept marching on. So Slarkrethel was defeated. Who else was defeated? And you haven't really heard much from Neunek and the Revengers at this time.
Suspicious.
super sussy. Dark. They outfit you with clothes. Your parents are there. You see them laughing and having probably one of the best times they've had in probably like 5-6 years, because they're not thralls anymore. They're sitting there and having discussions with their interlocutors that like their various crafts and things like that with the dwarves, and passing Githzari knowledge back and forth, and you hear them like, yeah, that's our son, he's a master crafter, and they're super proud, and he's the one that killed the Vonindod. And you hear your mom, in a very Midwestern accent, you know what I mean, like, that's my boy, and he I'm so proud of him. Yeah, so are you attending the funeral / the evening's party?
Yes, there is a moment where he'll kind of like go to himself, because he came back, but he came back with like none of his stuff. So I imagine if he's already written this, he would have to regurgitate it. But he would write a letter to a special warden in Tazir to let him know that he's met his parents, because that's recent information, but also that his sister Sirza is probably out there alive somewhere. And he'll find someone, messenger pigeon or raven or whatever, to deliver the letter to the Dragon's Coast, like the Dragon's Reach in the northern region, to Tazir. But he'll address it to the warden there in Tazir, and make sure that he gets the letter.
Okay. These are the parts where, like, so I know you had, like, Puent has Thibodeau Puent he's looking for, with Dark having a sister loophole. These are the level 20 prizes, right? So if Puent went somewhere else, or if your sister went somewhere else, and you are going to be a DM, right? The Euro DM, you can grab that as well. And if you want her, you know what I mean, across the Honorok, if you want, you know what I mean, like, just let the other DMs know in what do we call it, air traffic control in campaign 3 control tower. Yeah, so we don't no, your sister's in the Lurkwood. But yeah, so you stay for the libations and stuff like that, and you know what I mean, you guys have a great buzz. There's dwarven bards that come up, and you start hearing them forming basic songs about this fight and the Vonindod, and you guys are being written into, bard songs that will, be the next big hit for this summer, across the realm. And you guys hear about the Divine Misfits and stuff like that. It's got a really catchy tune, but the radio will play it. So in about 3 months, everybody's gonna hate this song. You know what I mean? And then you're not gonna like it again until you're 40. And you're like, oh, that's my jam. So that continues on. The pile of loot is there. Would you guys like to roll for your fate to see if you get Goggles of Night or the Holy Avenger?
Yeah, sure.
So across the battlefield, I love this is one of my favorite things to do, and we'll dig down into the tables. We'll say it's a level 17 or above kind of monster. So we can get lots of good rolls in here. So you guys get something cool. This is like the end of the night when everybody is completely shit-faced as well. They were going to wait for Christmas morning, but then everybody got really hammered, and they want their loot, and they asked for it as well. So we'll go with a Treasure Hoard 17 plus, which is kind of like a Tiamat level thing. And we're going to go ladies first here, because we're all gentlemen here in this thing. So we'll say, Coco, roll a D100 and tell me what you get.
57.
57. All right. Let's see. Let's stay in order. Pete, roll 1D10.
1d10. Okay. 8.
you found 8 art objects that you all can take to your place or sell them all. All 8 of these are worth 2,500 gold pieces. And let's see, we'll go with Neil/Gwen. Roll a d6.
A D6, you got it. That's a 3.
Not bad, not bad, not bad. 3 more rolls. Not bad. Not bad, not bad. These are the, you guys want to do the money? Or the, oh. E?
It's gonna cost a lot of, a lot of money to repair all this stuff.
Yeah. We're gonna, I'm gonna move up to a different table. We're gonna go to the high table.
Also, gotta buy Dark some new clothes and some gear. That's gonna cost a pretty shilling.
We're gonna roll from the, yeah, we're gonna roll from the high table since someone lost all of their gear and should have something cool by now.
You're welcome, Dark.
I will
I lost
say
my-
there are a couple things that don't exist on this table, and it's called the Ring of 3 Wishes. You don't get that. What's that?
I was gonna say, is the Ring of Winter on there?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
It's the ring of summer.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. We'll go Dark. Roll a D100.
$92.
Oh my God. All right. You find you reach in there, you're scrambling around. You guys can all pick whoever does whatever. As a matter of fact, since there's 4 of us, we're gonna roll this 4 times. So good job, Gwen, you roll a 4. You grabbed the Ring of Earth Elemental Command, which
That's
is
really
pretty
useful.
for someone
Nice.
who is going to run a forge. That's gonna be fun. That's a keeper. All right. Coco/Vespera, roll a D100.
All right.
Stop looking up the chart, Pete. Stop looking up the chart.
75.
What was it? 75.
75.
Oh, I have to look this up.
Ooh.
That sounds when a DM says that, that's a bad thing. It's like this the world's about to end.
Oh my God.
Makes me even more intrigued.
It's an
I suddenly
artifact,
sent.
Oh.
which we don't do these this often. So
Artifacts never cause trouble in this campaign, ever.
Never. Never.
oh my God.
I swear, Coco, if Vespera goes into
You
I
find a
should-
fine black cloth, soft as silk, and folded up into the dimensions of a handkerchief. You notice it can unfold into a circular sheet worth 6 feet in diameter. As you look in, you see shifts of other worlds. You have found the Well of Many Worlds. You can use as an action to unfold and place the Well of Many Worlds on a solid surface, whereupon it creates a 2-way portal to another world or plane of existence. Each time the item opens a portal, the DM decides where it leads. Yes! Good guess! I love
What could possibly go wrong with that?
Yeah,
So we're going to Avernus
I'm gonna be
next.
reading so many builds.
Oh my God.
Builds.
You can use as an action to close and open the portal by taking hold of the edges of the cloth and folding it up. Once the Well of Many Worlds has opened a portal, it can't do so again for 1d8 hours. So do you step through it and then it just stays open? And then you can step back out of it and then close it, I presume? Yeah. That's what it sounds like to me as it's written. But that's a pretty sweet artifact. Try not to
Hell
abuse.
yeah!
Try not to abuse that.
Oh,
Pete.
see, this is Vespera we're talking about.
Yeah. This is crazy. All right. So, Pete, roll your D100.
I'm rolling on D&D Beyond. 2 secs.
You are okay. I won't see it
So
fly over.
I can't be accused of rolling some up. That's
Lord
not-
Gazuma. What's
Jay,
up,
what are you
buddy?
doing
Hi,
out of
Jay.
bed?
I hope you're
Hi,
feeling well.
Jay.
Hi, Jay. Can we give Jay a shout out, friend? Dear sweet Skylar.
Absolutely.
Hello, I rolled.
What'd you get?
There you go. It's coming out. I got 41. 41.
Shut up. Oh no. I don't want you to have this. Oh no.
Hey, look, I rolled it on D&D Beyond. I have not cheated. It's on D&D.
You
Everyone can see my
see
roll.
a adamantine hilt centered with a amber stone with a molten orange blade as you pull out the Vorpal sword.
Oh, wow.
If you would like the Vorpal sword to be an axe, or you know what I mean, it can be the Vorpal battle axe if you choose, right? Because 2024 rules, everything they like a Holy Avenger, you can have it be a hammer if you want it to be. So
Oh man.
how would you like this Vorpal sword to look? Oh yay, he's happy. You can tell me. You can tell me how it looks when you see it. No one's ever had the
Yeah,
Vorpal sword in our campaigns. That is so. You should just keep it a sword. Oof. Anyways, all right. Gwen, what do you got? Roll that delicious D100.
That is an 83.
Oh, high numbers are good. High numbers are good.
Apparently, mid numbers are good too.
Right.
It's true. I've never had a Vorpal sword, to be honest. So
I don't know if I like this.
Oh no.
I don't know if I like this.
I
All
think you can use the cloak for more trade, racking more money from other worlds.
Ooh,
That's a really
that's
good,
a good
idea.
Okay, armor of light medium.
So I'm gonna start writing up a new character, because apparently this is going to kill me.
now, do you want to spar with my new axe? We'll see what
It
happens
is
if I roll a 20.
Oh
I am
man.
gonna-
It's the ring of instant death.
No,
Well-
it's the armor of
God.
resistance. It's the armor of resistance, and it gives you resistance to one choice of, you know what I mean? It's just a breastplate because you've already got plate, right? What are you wearing right
Yeah.
now?
I've got the Mariner's plate.
You got the Mariner's plate,
Yep.
which is half plate, right?
I think so.
This will be. Do you want to roll for it? Roll a d10.
Okay. Nine.
I don't know if I want you to be resistant to radiant damage.
Yeah.
It seems like,
Oh come on.
yeah,
I mean, it is
So-
Taylor.
he
is a
seems
healer.
evil, right? It seems like that's evil plate, right, Pete?
Well, just
Yeah.
give him make it sort of do it necrotic or something like that.
Yeah, this is opposite. This is opposite of that. So we'll go. This thing has a blazoned sun on it, a breastplate, and we'll take it to full plate of resistance.
Okay. A full plate of resistance.
Yep, we'll raise it to full plate. So the plate of resistance in, if you go in, so any of you guys can just add this if you want through manage resources. It'll be half plate, but we'll sort it out. We'll sort it out. We'll brew that. But you've got this sick breastplate. You know what I mean? So your vestments can flow underneath it, resistant to necrotic damage. And I think I think based on the next campaign for the super shots, Pete did a nod to what you want to be resistant to. Just like Mariner's
Sorry. Sorry, what was that?
We were driving you guys to fight Slarkerthel. But yeah. Okay, so we got more rolls. We're gonna go back around. So that was Dark. Oh, this is Dark's. This one will go. Who just went? Gwen just
Me.
went. We'll go back to Dark. We'll need to roll. I don't know how you want to do this. If you want to do it by roll 12, die 6.
I'll do it on
D&D Beyond.
thing. All together, it's 45, or do you want them separate?
Oh, it's fine. All together is 45. 45,000 gold pieces were found in the war chests and things like that of the drow that were pushed back.
Cha-ching.
45,000 gold pieces across your party. And then Coco, roll 8d6.
Jesus. Okay. 8.
This is the
Or
one
my
you
D6
roll
just
real high on.
4, 5, 6, 70. Okay.
77?
No, I haven't done it yet.
I was like, no.
25.
25. This is a big one. 25,000 platinum pieces.
Oh yeah.
So you guys can break
just
that
enough
up.
I'll say that's just enough to meet my throne. That's bad.
So that's your party's horde. Everybody else got to roll the same thing, and you know what I mean? Like they're rebuilding Maelstrom, and they're doing all sorts of things. I think Blandina's building a ice fortress somewhere. I can't tell you guys yet, but so that's what you guys have. For that, you guys, there's also various other things that Gauntlgrim will also use, but this is a good epilogue horde. And the cool part about this thing is your characters can now use this money to, as you're paused to go in the next phase. I'm a lord of Sundabar, and the cathedral is built. It was a time of peace and splendor. Now Tiamat's back. You know what I mean? Kind of whatever. So where would you like to go over the next 10 days, Coco? At the end of the 10 days, is there anything that you want to do? Trade agreements are met. You get the sense that you're going to be an epic portion of the far west reaches. So let me adjust the map real quick. Do you see where that anvil is on the map? Basically, you have created an underground source of water movement, of water trade, using the undersea or the underlake to get dwarven goods back and forth out to places like Silvery Moon and things like that. So Ironforge / Citadel Adbar could be the actual city this supports, or Sundabar or whatever. So you guys have like a nice little spot out there. I'll try to show you where Sundabar is on this map as well. Oh, here, I have a pointy. I'll put well, you're not there yet. So anyways, what would you like to do for this 10 days? Are you, at the end of the 10 days, do you depart the party? Do you guys ask, do we all go together? How do you guys want to, do you stay in Gauntlgrim? Where do you guys want to go?
I am departing the party because I would like to go ahead and start setting up my trade agreements and getting a harbor port built for Underlake.
Okay.
For like basically the main trading area.
Okay. So your character basically stays there with all intent to depart to Underlake, get that squared away at about the day 10 period. And you can always retroactively, oh, at a day 9 I did whatever, as someone else comes up with a good idea. But for Vespera's purposes, she's gonna get packed up, take this barge back to Underlake through you know where the Elder Brian was and stuff like that. The dwarves, you know where the port is. It's like down the cave. Whatever. We'll make it up when we make it up. But Pete, over the next 10-day, various one, to make it weird, Dag Nabbit is just like, do we seal this alignment? You know what I mean? Between Mithril Hall and Adbar, she gives one last offer through another dwarf, right, to keep her pride. You know what I mean? Like another dwarf comes up and offers her hand or whatever. She would stay in Mithril Hall, of course. You know what I mean? And in Adbar, but the future lineage of your you know what I mean, your crew would inherit.
I accept.
Oh.
And say, we are. I'm honoured that we can finally forge an alliance between all the northern kingdoms, including Mithril Hall, Akbar. We do need to rebuild Felbar. That is one that looks like it's seen better days. I've only recently acquired the seat of King of Akbar, and I do need to go back and see them and go through a few things first. But yes, let's arrange for that. We can sort it out. Hey,
you guys have a bishop that can marry you. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah. She gets the wedding plan, and she's like, "You let me handle the wedding." You know what I mean? And I'll send you the plans at Citadel Adbar, which she's like, I do like the ring of Akbar. Maybe we'll just call it Akbar from here on out. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So it's canon now. It's now Citadel Admiral Akbar.
Not Adbar. Akbar. Yeah.
Akbar.
So over the next 10 days, if this is the 10 days we're doing,
yeah, because you're resting, right? Your back's got to be broken by the amount of combat that you guys
So within that day, about a day after we've done this, I will I receive a note on the sending stone from Bork, and it reads, and I'll read out to these people here so they're all aware of what's happening, and it's a little bit broken up as sending stones always do. It's Lennathon defeated. Well, hey, good. That's good on them. Look, that's good. Sir Timothy corrupted by Ring of Winter. Now dread Ice Lord with Draculich. Heading towards Candlekeep then Thandalin. Oh boy, what the hell's happened there? Like, what? Like sheer terror over Brent's face. Brent spends the next sort of day or so just finding out a bit what's happened, and it seems to be that Neverwinter is now Everwinter, and it's gone frozen of the north. Yes, I know it's a pun, and it's a really good one, and we're sticking with it. I know Noynek and the Revengers are dealing with some stuff at the moment in Waterdeep, trying to see what happens. So we'll see what happens on that. But I head back to Akbar and address my kin, and basically sort of do the classic. I stand up and I go, I stand before you not merely as your king, but as a dwarf that has been in the depths of our mountains and expanse of the world above. My group, the Divine Misfits, have successfully vanquished the Megrim, a victory that we would normally call for weeks of celebration. As I pause, I look around. I said, there can be no rest. The Ice Dreadlord has spread his frozen grip across the surface lands, and I already hear whispers of retreat, of descending deeper into our mountain homes to wait out this storm as we have waited out others. For those who don't realise, Akbar's really good at shutting the doors and not letting anyone in. You hear murmurs of agreement through the dwarven saying, "Well, it's the way we do. We endure. We don't fight. We outlast." And I say, nay to all those rumours. I say that we cannot retreat. We cannot hide. And for what is there is a forge that burns without purpose. What is it that steals left untempered? When a blacksmith faces flawed metal, does it cast it aside? Does he abandon his craft? No, he strikes it harder, heats it hotter, works it longer until that broken becomes stronger than before. Our kin from the north, I gesture to an emissary from Goldhulgrim, have not come merely to deliver news. They have come to forge an alliance. We are here now must decide, are we the anvil that merely receives blows, or are we the hammer that shapes our future? The Ice Dreadlord thinks us weak, divided. He has not understood that the nature of dwarven metal. From underneath we shall usurp this frozen Ice Lord. He does not understand what he has awoken. The hottest fires do not weaken our steel, they strengthen it. The heaviest blows do not shatter our resolve, they shape it. We are not meant to be buried treasures hidden away from the world. It is now time that the dwarfs rise and show what we are truly made of. To lead our charge against these ice lands, I hereby establish the Molten Vanguard. I gesture to a small number of dwarfs, regaled in battle-hardened battle rager spikes. These dwarfs will carry the heat of our forges to the frozen wastes. They'll be our first strike against the shadows gathering in Neverwinter. As the Ice Lord's dreads bring winter, our Molten Vanguard brings the summer of Akbar's heart. Hear me? We are not cowering behind our fortresses. We are using this as the underground, the force to rebel and resist this frozen dictator from Neverwinter. And I'll make sure that the whole of Akbar is on board for this, with now obviously my relationship with the Queen of Mithral and obviously Brunner. I propose that we use the dwarfs, because we're underground, we're protected from this, the heat, the frozen north, and the cold that is spreading the north. We'll use the dwarven underground to move resources, to strike them where required, and to show them how resolved the dwarven race is. We will not cower. We will ensure that all races understand that we are here to push back the ice and the shadow that has come from the north.
I'll use that. So is that at Adbar?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so over the next 10 days, where do you head, Gwyn?
Is this before or post?
So you'll go 10 days. You can head straight to Waterdeep and prepare for your, you know what I mean? Henry says, hey, I've got to go to Baldur's Gate for a festival.
I will. Then if that's the case, I will give my departures, and I will head, to Waterdeep. Not to cut you off. Head to Waterdeep, and meet with him, and then obviously prepare myself to become the bishop there. And I think that's what I will do. Of course, there are other things that I do want to kind of like put in place as well to kind of help with kind of making sure things stay kind of secure and all that stuff as well. So that's just another thing that I wanted to do. Like, for example, like establishing obviously my place at like Sundabar as well, having it as like an HQ for like doing various things as like a headquarters for helping people like, again, the Order of the Gauntlet, to other fellow travelers and heroes also come through. There was one thing that I had thought about doing in the 10 days, along with becoming a bishop, and working on
Get another
the
griffin? Just kidding.
cathedral. No.
Oh,
Oh, no, I've learned my lesson. I like look out the window and I see the dragon turtle, just like, yeah. It's like, no. No, but I actually wrote some notes. The one thing I wanted to do in Gwen's downtime was, 1, become the bishop, 2, lay some plans to the cathedral, 3, establish the Sundabar thing, but also I wanted to see if I could come up with a thing that was like a small little militia that was like the Order of the Gauntlet. They're not like them in the sense that they're like super active, like fighting and all that stuff, but these people are more like reconnaissance type people. To establish a flexible volunteer militia named the Watchdogs of Palor.
Okay.
And their symbol will be of Gwyn's fallen hippogriff, who has the holy symbol of Palor on its chest,
Nice.
kind of like how you described it last time.
Yep.
From there, they enact scouting and patrol operations along with collecting intel from the territories that the giants attacked. And then it is all directly reported to, the key head figures, such as the head of, the Order of the Gauntlet. If the Harpers are around, the Harpers, and of course you have, Point himself. That it would be directly reported to these people as well, and to any other Divine Misfits who are still around at that time, to help prevent any further issues and so on. So kind of like this, like, not necessarily a city watch, but just kind of like how would you word it? Kind of like Game of Thrones, where they have like like there's spies everywhere.
Yeah.
Kind of deal. And with this, it will kind of hopefully spread the information or get people the information that they need. That's really, really important to kind of give people like the dwarves and so on who are still rebuilding their homes, and the people whose lives have been lost or destroyed, who are also trying to rebuild some level of normalcy. It'll give them time to do what is necessary to prepare, with necessary healing and defenses that they need, and so on and so forth. So things of that notion as well, and again, making it known that anybody, no matter who you are, can join and be a vigilant, keep an eye on things to make sure that this doesn't happen again, especially under our noses.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so you've got that kind of in your mind to build and get support for this. Like, what is it? Dragonov built the gendarme or whatever of Waterdeep, and you're building the watchdogs out of Sundabar. And you're also, when you do return to Waterdeep, is anybody else going to go watch the coronation thing over the next?
We're all going to be there. We'll all be there.
Yeah. Okay. So you get. Like, even you, Vespera, you get this kind of running. You know what I mean? Like, over the next 10-day, like 30 days later is when you guys all arrive back at Waterdeep, and these things are underway. It's basically how this will work. But Dark, what is your next step at day 10 or in between, in the short term?
So, hearing the business happening in the north, Dark would probably send both of his parents to Tazir, which would be like southeast.
Okay.
Just to have the peace of mind that they're safe, and tell him to, find the warden. He'll make sure that they're taken care of. But he will, in the efforts of establishing trade, head back to Kazangrud?
Yeah.
Iron Force?
KA. Kilo Alpha.
Yeah. Alpha. And begin the process, like, between the elementals and the efforts that they've started so far, basically getting that forge up and running,
Okay.
taking the time to, decipher the codex, that kind of thing.
Okay. Yep. So you get there. A couple dwarves go with you that are pretty crafty as well. The NPCs that you name for your future, they are very highly interested in this as well. So they head to the forge itself. Your parents, for all intents and purposes, make it safely. As a matter of fact, they're going to go with some of the Order of the Gauntlet. So there's the Order of the Gauntlet is like a higher, as a subcontractor, are these watchdogs that kind of, to take a secondary duty, and they kind of flesh out, and they'll help transfer your parents to wherever they're going. Over the next 30 days, though, so I'll kind of say what happens. Things go absolutely smoothly for Vespera. Like, the market just goes nuts down there. You show up, the Ganassi are there. The dragon turtle is very familiar with you. Like, it has been called to do this. The wish that you had with your patron, that was achieved. It's very amicable to being, harnessed up to help with the forge. You think that it became super angry potentially because of Slarkathel living there. With the Kraken made it a little bit feral. So the dragon turtle is kind of chill. And you don't need much defenses for this place because you got a dragon turtle. You know what I mean? And it just kind of sits there. It hangs out. It builds its own little nest nearby. However you decide that works. You can sleep on its tummy. It doesn't matter. But you can see things booming. Various NPCs of your choice start manifesting and create all the normal local trade stuff, from smithies to people that are tanners to the fishmongers and things like that. Like, it starts booming because no one's been fishing here for a while, so all the fish finders are like bright red. So you guys just like bring them in, and food starts flowing into Felbar, to Sundabar, to all of these places. And it may taste a little gamey because it's aboleth fish from the Underdark, but you can spice it up with the right mushrooms. So that kind of happens. Things go well. You receive an invitation for not only for the rising of a bishop, but for the marriage of like afterwards is the wedding of Dagnabbit Waybeard and Puent in Waterdeep to form the Lord's Alliance. So there'll be this big thing where more folks are pulled into the Lord's Alliance as you guys become Lord's Alliance here is like the NATO of the Sword Coast. So you'll all be pulled in to be, that's an apt name, War Dukes of the Lord's Alliance. It's weird that is the term. Yeah, that's strange. Should we go to Lion Crown? Lion Crowns?
Yeah.
Lion Crowns, okay.
Because War Duke died quite disastrously.
Oh, interesting fact. More to follow. There's an hour left in this session. More to follow. Vorpal sword, dead. First hit.
Yeah, the Ice King up north is just like, yo, somebody's got a really cool sword down here. I'm just gonna take that. Thank you.
Man.
What's up, Dark?
Back at Iron, is there a lawful good silver dragon? Maybe.
Okay.
Thing?
Yep. So yeah. So that transfer will happen when Puent brings it to Waterdeep. Because it's still in Adbar, so you guys can send messages back and forth like, hey, do you mind if I forgot the name of the dragon, it's written down here, but he can you know what I mean, bring it there, and you can receive it, because you guys will all have like one last moment at Waterdeep. This is not foreboding in any sort of way. What's up?
Does this dragon wormling come with a book that Puent hands him, says, also how to train your dragon?
Oh, can't wait for that
manual.
This
can be good.
Does this one come with a set of gloves?
true.
Is that part of it? I don't remember. Yeah.
Remember, he had some ogre gauntlets, didn't he? Made him stronger.
Oh, that's right.
I was thinking Falconer's
Is that-
gloves.
is
He
that-
has the dragon
is
on his
that it?
hand.
Let's see, where was I? So you're back at Adbar. Things go smoothly there. You start hearing that Dagnabbit wants to have her wedding be presided by the Bishop of Sundabar, the Bishop of Palor, at the cathedral. Like, think of the main cathedral that Henry has been building is now these giant spires inside Waterdeep that overlook, like his like it's the what is it, the chapel of Tyr, the cathedral of Tyr there. So his will be like a giant rose mirror with the justice symbols, and yours will be this rose mirror of the sun out on one side. So you're, for all intents and purposes, you know what I mean, the highest of the Palor. But Dagnabbit lets you know that she wants the wedding there, and you get the sense that like she's gonna have it her way. You know what I mean? So
I just go yes there. I go yes there.
yeah.
Just smile and nod.
Then so Adbar seems to be bumping. You also start receiving foodstuffs from Underlake as well. Trade starts going back and forth. It goes into Sundabar as well. Things are starting to boom on that side of the world. I would say additionally, people are working up to rebuild Felbar as a citadel. So you do have the manpower to start sending folks back there, if you choose. Let's see, Gwyn, Sundabar, you get you're a White Claw, right? Or White Hawk of the Order of the Gauntlet,
I think so.
if I remember correctly, or are you a Vindicator previously? I can't remember what your last rank was, but
It's been a while. I can't remember.
So
It was
high
we had
order
gotten a
of the,
promotion.
Order of the Gauntlet, you were easily able to shell out 25 of these people. So you have the 25 Order of the Gauntlet types that will be these watchdogs that you can
Right.
place all over the map as you see fit. But that kind of happens. They need their initial guidance. Initial steps are you have henchmen. This is what old 1E, 2E stuff was, is you have 25 henchmen. And you're invited back. And so Dark, for you, over the next 10 to 20 days, as the 30-day point, the Forge is up and running. You get the sense that magic items can start being created here. You're now a DM in the world. Things can now be homebrewed from this place, depending on the amount of time. So this is the spot where you can place things in there, and in a minimum they can become +1, right? Like if you so choose, because this is your forge. It could be if you try to put in the tome of the stilled tongue or whatever, it could get spit out. You know what I mean? Because between you and I would say it requires the Dawn Titan to be encapsulated inside of this to function properly. So you have to make that choice if you're gonna input it in there. But it will work, and it will seal it with the same properties. The flask itself is just its transportation. So there's even a spot where you found where the flask sits as part of this thing. So that occurs. The forge is beginning to up and run. It's cleaned out now. There's no, the big giant fire giant. Oh, you do have a friend fire giant there, don't you? Yep. Ben cruised along. He's sitting there with these giant bellows. The 17-year-old fire giant is actually, now that he's got good parentage, he's learning to read common and stuff like that. And he's another great henchman to have in this place. The light of Palor still shines in there, and you get free food because right down the street is the Underlake. And you are basically the arms dealer of the North. So 30 days later, you guys all arrive in Waterdeep to a great ceremony where they're finishing up the, 6 months ago, they had defeated Tiamat. So the party is now going to move to Baldur's Gate. They've got a few nights left. Before the coronation or the raising of becoming a bishop, they all offer you and sign that in every one of your spots. So the Duke, there is the Duke of Khazad and Grud, right? They sign you, and during this ceremony you'll receive the little tiny, and you'll see this in England all the time, there's like smaller crowns for dukes and there's bigger crowns for kings, and they give you the robe to wear when you show up to the Lord's Alliance, and they pass these things off. We'll also say you will all be raised to, at a minute, well, other than Point, who's a king, you'll all be raised into the duchy. So in terms of Stronghold and things like that, you see there's a seal off to the side that there was the Duchy of Skyreach. So it's the Duchess of Underlake and things like that as well. And, you receive your Lord's Alliance crown, where you guys are all raised to the term Lion Crowns of your place, if you stay in the Lord's Alliance, of course. So it's always good to work together. So there's a ceremony, that they build you guys up for. And then, the ultimate, becoming a bishop happens. You become the bishop, and then, there's the coronation of Mithril Hall and the wedding of Mithril Hall and Adbar. You preside, because Henry's like, I'm leaving. He goes down to Waterdeep, right? So you're at the main cathedral in Waterdeep, and you preside over the wedding. You can always take over if you want, but the wedding, happens where you place the crowns over Dagnabbit and Point's heads. And then these other crowns of the duchy, the Duke crowns, are like behind them, and you basically bless those crowns as well. You don't need one because you're a bishop, and that's cool on one side of the aristocracy. What's up, brother?
I jokingly wanted to say, like during the process, as like everyone's getting ready for the wedding, it's like, we are gathered here today to witness the joyous, the most joyous occasions. We're here to witness the merger. I mean, the union of these two amazing dwarven nations coming together as one.
Merger. Yeah.
I was thinking Monty Python. It's like, oh yeah, the merger. I mean, the union. Just leave it at that.
Yeah. So, you guys have received titles in the Lord's Alliance of Lion Crown, and you're considered like the righteous hand of the West, is what they call Bishop. Bishop Gwyn is the righteous hand of the West, and for all intents, you are the de facto ruler of the Order of the Gauntlet on that side, like the Hawk's Nest and in places like that. So basically in charge of paladins and stuff on that side, and the Holy Church. There's still rumors that you hear from these from folks in town. As you arrive there, you see the Margasters are there as well, and they're trumping up, like, oh, unless you guys want to sell holy water, and they go off to their side, but they've got money on their end. So a great ceremony.
They thought they had money. I am seizing the lot of that money of those Margasters and just basically
on your side of town. Yeah, you can boot them from Adbar, but Waterdeep, they're entrenched. But that being said, the next day you guys wake up for like a follow-on little soiree amongst the dukes and things like that, because folks have come down, and you've noticed that Dagalt Neverember arrives late, and I want to make sure I get this right. We'll just read this. So someone unfurls this big, document. And in the midst of this thing, someone's like, "We need your attention, please." And I don't say so. Do you go to Candlekeep, Bork?
I'm going to Candlekeep.
Does Bork?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Candlekeep, and then following Candlekeep, I'm going to go to Phandalin to go see Sister Gariel again.
Okay. So Bork, what, for all intents and purposes, are you heading north?
Correct.
Before I
Yes.
pass this,
Yes. Yes.
you are heading north.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna pass you something. If the Herald of Shadow and Ice would like to pass a message as a bard to this lovely wedding, would the Herald of Shadow and Ice like to deliver a message?
Why not? This will be
Manu
fun.
/ Skylar?
This will be fun.
Okay. During this thing, a wisp of snow basically appears in a dark, shadowy portal, like any ending of a fairy tale occurs. The shadowy portal has cracks of ice like a red cloth or a red carpet rolling out. And outside of this thing steps a autognome who reads the above. Go for it.
Let it be known throughout the Sword
As you
Coast,
hear,
the Lord's Alliance, the cities of Neverwinter, Waterdeep, Baldur's Gate, Candlekeep, and east to Silvery Moon and to the Great Desert. By decree, and with support of his royal justified majesty, dread King Glacius Justarian, Lord of Peace and the Cold Truth, declare those affiliated with or associated with and members of Noynek and the Revengers, most dubious outlaws, especially Mariana Alagandar, Zora, and Pleep Melip, and that evil Noynek Drow Inda. For the betrayal of Faerun, the disappearance of the holy city of Elturel, and the murder or the most noble paladin of the Order of the Gauntlet, Timothy Alagandar. The plot originates from the scoundrel money hoarders of Waterdeep and Neverwinter's very own Dagult Neverember, and I point, who kept the glorious city of Neverwinter in ignorance of their noble and rightful ruling house, and financed by the open lord Lady Lariel Silverhand, with another point, and demonic corruption by the Margasters, 2 hands outspread. By this decree, Neverwinter will abandon the Lord's Alliance and henceforth be named Everwinter. Now protected by the deadly lava of Hotnow and the meddling dwarves of the Dawn Titan in Gauntlgrim. The devil's corruption of Baldur's Gate and menacing giants will ever be kept from the frozen gates of our noble city. Brought to you by Bork. Thank you.
the ice recedes back into a shadowy mist portal, and it just leaves. Dagult looks, Dagult Neverember, he looks befuddled and foolish, sitting there in front of you all as this great news appears, and people go, you see one of the Margasters stand up. I knew Noynek. I knew those folks were dubious, and they storm out, preparing to get the world full of sensationalism.
I guiding bolt that guy.
So this is the point as we begin to wrap this up and prepare for the next steps, where the other party kind of, where do you go finding these things? You know that your various kingdoms and your castles are building up, but where do you guys go? You can always go back to where you're from. Some of the other parties like Blandina went to the north. I can't tell you what Noynek and the Revengers did. Lady Lariel is just befuddled. She hasn't heard from them, or keeping her secrets, but you guys are at Waterdeep. This is what do you want to do over the next 30 days? Because when we ever pick up in the next super shot, it'll be 30 days later. You're basically the cathedral will be built to a certain point. It'll always be sort of built. Adbar will start working on Felbar kind of things. The forge is making its first weapons, and the city of Underlake continues to grow. Those sort of things. But is there any sort of direction you want to give your character based on the news that you guys have heard? And also, Pete, to throw you completely on the spot and judge yourself, if there is something as a DM you want to add to this to kind of, add to the light, go ahead. If you want to, throw a trailer in there as well. But we'll continue to go around. So, Vespera, to throw you straight on the spot, you hear these things. You have good travel if you want to get back, if you need to. There are travel circles that can get you, home as fast as you want to.
Yeah, so with my new cloak, I guess.
Oh, okay.
The harbor becomes not only a trade of, food and wares and like herbs and all that other things as well. It becomes a trade of information, an information hub from other worlds, and that is information that can also be sold for a fair price. But for friends, of course, it's free. So any information given about anything that's going on also around or in other worlds, that definitely gets sent straight up to, the king. But that is what Vespera's going to be working on, is solidifying her trade of just everything, but basically also kind of like Point, having her, trade seekers as well, her little spies, going around trying to get information, and then trading other things for information as well that could possibly be useful. So yeah, that's basically what, and also like homing the, Ganassi as well, the water Ganassi, making that kind of like also a hub for them, for the fishing and the wares and everything on that regard.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. We'll come back to that one. So are you returning home?
Yes.
Okay. Point.
Okay. I am going to negotiate with Vespera and actually get, obviously using her trade routes and her way of moving around, to assist the underground movement that is now going to be formed to help fight off this frozen invader.
Yep.
Just basically, whilst we're going to be under the sort of the ground dealing with things, we still need to make sure that there is movement between. I know the frozen north is going to be hard for people to move around with, but seeing that Gauntle Grim is near that's going to be the first affected, but at least they're down under the ground. Maybe we can use those as like stationing sort of area to sort of get sort of troops on the ground type thing, all those sort of things.
Mm-hmm.
But also in the 30 days, I will have accepted a summons from Noynek and the Revengers to sort of go and assist them and help them with Timothy. Now that obviously Timothy's one of my oldest friends, and this is sort of it sort of hit home. I understand that it's leaving my sort of kingdom a bit, but unfortunately, we can't do what we've got to do our bits to help and see what we can do. Talking to Dark and going through a few things as well is seeing what items we're able to forge that are able to be precisely, not sure what they mean by shadow and ice, but we know that ice is obviously cold. We know that one. Don't know where the shadow bits have come from this at the moment, but what can we forge that can assist in that elements? I'm not sure. However, I do also talk to, we've got the Felbar Battle Ragers and we've got the Mithril Hall Battle Ragers. We get them all together to get more Battle Ragers. I am getting a whole company of Battle Ragers to form the what did I call them? I can't remember that name, didn't I? Molten Vanguard, which is basically to they're going to be basically trying to sort of, we need to sort of shock and awe type thing, and no one does shock and awe better than Battle Ragers. They are the best.
So that's your key in Adbar, is refining like this.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like this shock troop for the dwarves in general. Yep. Okay.
Also, I'm using my cloak as well. I forgot to say this. Using my cloak as well to bring back any type of like blueprints that I can give to Dark on things that he could possibly make to help with us against like the ice and the shadows and all that. Kind of like, you know, fortifying our upcoming stuff.
Excellent.
Sorry if I didn't say that before.
We'll get to that. When?
In my time now, having done the the ascension of the bishop to doing the wedding, the great merger.
Yep. Oh, let me add something.
Yes.
You did just find out Henry and the original Stronghold party are now missing. El Terrell itself is gone. You can stay in Waterdeep if you like.
Well, one thing is I report that immediately to Puent and to the other members here of the Divine Misfits. Any and all information that I gather or that the Watchdogs of Pelor gather on their travels throughout, from here to there, from Waterdeep to Adbar. All of that information, the essence of otherwise, is going to be delivered to Quent and the rest of the team. So, so there's that. I will say that.
Head back to Sunderbar, or do you want to?
I think because in the lore that I have for Gwyn when I was making him over a year ago now. Is that he was originally from, his home is actually, he was born and raised in Waterdeep. So
technically speaking, you can, as the bishop, for the time being, you can be the acting.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. They just look at you like, do you want to run this place?
Yeah, I'll probably stay and watch over things until until we can sort things out and everyone can regain their bearings, everyone can organize themselves and kind of like lick their wounds and all that stuff. And one thing I will do is I'll keep an eye on people like the Margasters and others. I'll have the Watchdogs kind of like spread out into teams and all that stuff across from here to Adbar and stuff, and just run reconnaissance and intel gathering and all this other stuff. And like I said, report whatever I can to the rest of the Divine Misfits. But I think I'll stay here. But once in a while, like make a trip to Sunderbar and back and stuff like that and so on. So that's what Gwyn wants to do, is he'll just kind of like be like a watchdog,
while also maintaining the clergy of the Sword Coast, because it just falls into your lap. Because he just disappears. It's like you're
By
the
the time
only
you see him in
you're
3
the only
days, he'll
bishop
be like
there
really
now.
old.
Yeah.
He'll look like Palpatine. Like, yeah.
So Sundabar continues to grow. They're building your cathedral, but you're gonna stay focused in Waterdeep and keep
Yes.
everybody as informed as possible with the Watchdogs, which you
Yes.
kind of find out is kind of there with the Harpers as well, and that's what Henry was doing. So it works. It works well. There's an MI5 and an MI6 now.
We'll trade information with all the groups, from Harper's to the Gauntlet to you name it. So
Gotcha.
we're gonna trade information with all of them. Keep everybody in a nice tight knit, loop.
Okay, this is fun because you guys are telling me what's happening, and I'll tell you what happened here in a little bit. All right. So Dark. Next 30 days. Do you return?
So after hearing the announcement, obviously, like, Dark may not have known the other group for as long as, like, Quint
You're like,
with
okay.
Sir Timothy.
Okay.
But he remembers, like, going to the Drunken Duck, meeting up with everybody, our party splitting, us realizing that that might be, like, the last time that we see each other for however long it has been. And the one thing that always stands true is the Stronghold looks out for their own. So given that information, and also he'll go to Quint and remembering, like, the deception of how the dwarves tried to put a fake king in place to deceive everyone, he'll want to make sure that, like, Noynek and the Revengers' name isn't, like, mud, essentially, and, like, the true story gets told. So working with Vespera and Quint and Gwyn, basically using that intel, that network, the underground, he's going to fortify Ironforge or Khazad Grund, and between, like, the golems he can summon now to fortify the Silver Dragon, it's going to be known as, like, the Silver Duke of Khazad Grund.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, and basically he's going to do whatever he can to make sure that people know that if you're part of the Stronghold, you're going to get taken care of, and there's somebody out there that will always be there for you if it ever comes down to, like, whatever you need. So having that just kind of, like, ushered through the network as well will make any sympathizers with this, like, crazy talk that's happening now find that they have a place to go to, even if they're, like, new or want to become part of the Stronghold. But yeah, he's gonna, like, buckle down and make sure that everyone has what they need, whether it's weapons or anything the Forge can provide or anything he can provide, and work with everyone present as well as anyone else.
Awesome. Well, when you do mention that at the party, there are 2 members left of the Stronghold that were present. As you try to push this forward, there's this goblin, and he's got, a bicorn hat and a monocle, and he's with this taller woman that you saw at the Battle of Gauntlgrim. And you haven't had any conversations with them yet, but he introduces himself as Droop Droop. He's like, "Hello, I was saved by the Stronghold, and I was pulled in. And as a member of the Stronghold," and he takes you guys down into these old quarters where there's signs that say Epione, there's signs that say Mirren, there's a sign that says Connor, and there's this hallway where they all lived. And this is kind of before you guys depart. And he mentions that there were times where we stayed here when Tiamat was coming, and we were all very, very afraid to be alive. And I can tell you that I think it is up to you all to be now the leaders of Stronghold, and I will tell them that that if anybody is looking for help, they should go to Kazanangrud, to the Silver Duke, and the Duchy of the West is where a stronghold will be. But for now, I will ensure. And my friend Kara, and she introduces herself. She's like, as the sheriff of Phandalin. She's like, I'm Kara Dune, the sheriff of Phandalin. I'm gonna depart myself to head to Phandalin and look into these troubles. But rest your mind. I'll take care of it. She looks very confident, and she gives Droop a kiss on his forehead, and they embrace themselves, and she walks off, going to the north. But like Droop's like, I will stay here and continue to pass the good word of Stronghold. And what I'll say for you is, by putting in this effort, you go to the Drunken Duck, you put this down. Droop, stays there as well, and through the Yawning Portal and places like that, it does calm. Waterdeep seems to stay a stable place. The Margasters will always try to smudge, but they're gonna, they're gonna go recede to a place called Thornhold or something like that, where they have a lot of money. But for all intents and purposes, the Stronghold name itself remains untattered at this point as you depart. So you were able to do that over the next, 30 days as you move forward for your next chapter. Pete, appoint 120 battle ragers are formed under the Molten Vanguard at a cost of your brigades that are out there, your battalions that are out there, but you have a strong troop. There's these, monk-looking pits where they, fight, and, they use a lot of the adamantine, they shaved it down, and a lot of the, the gold and things like that to build their armor. But they're fully suited over the next, 30 days. They start crafting away at their gear, and having been in the battles of Gauntlgrim, you were able to select the best of the best to be, this shock troop for all dwarves. That's where they go there, is that when, the horns are, blown, they all come together. It's kind of how this, Dwarven Imperial Guard, assemble, and, they have their rites and rituals, but within 30 days they're assembled and they're starting to build their armor. But 30 days later, I'll give you an update on how this goes. When reports come in about this giant pit in Elturel, and the holy city is gone, people are very nervous. You hear of the fall of Luskan from the legions of the north. They were sieged by people of Neverwinter. It just doesn't make sense. The people of Neverwinter seem glad to be there. It doesn't make, and only, hey Flaps, only, there's a lot of esprit de corps with what's happening. But you hear that the shadow and ice has moved all the way to the spine of the world and connected the cold of Neverwinter to the cold to the north as well. So that's just an initial report that Luskan has fallen. People are kind of worried, but it only appears that they're heading north at this time. And Vespera, you are in your room, and you lay out the cloth for the first time. It seems dark, but you feel wind on the other side of it, but you're not sure what is on the other side of this portal. But you open it and you feel some pressure, but the veil of itself of silk remains.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna step through the cloth.
As soon as you step through, there is absolute biting cold. Nothing but snow for as far as you can see. And then there is a tall tower in front of you with a bright blue light at the top of this. And all you can hear in the distance is a voice that says, "Who am I? Where am I?" As you turn behind you, the veil is gone.
So I'm stuck there. Okay.
As you find yourself very much in the elemental plane of snow and ice and cold. But maybe there might just be a friend's voice in front of you.
Can I tell who it is? The friend's voice? Do I remember?
When you return for Pete's super shot, I'll tell Pete what's in this
Oh man.
lone tower there. Everybody will do their part. Everybody will do their part to break these things. And you just gave me a brilliant plan for your part to break this thing. So as you become higher level, it's reduced party members, right? So this should be good.
Oh,
This should be good.
I'm
yay.
scared. Guys, all that tension that was off just got added back on.
Yeah, pretty much.
I
You
do
lose 10, gain
apologize.
20.
I do apologize because I did this to Tim. He's now doing it to everybody else. I apologize. Okay, it's on me.
Oh, so we should
But
kill
does Tim
Tim.
potentially have a buddy on the other side? You know? We'll see. Yeah. All right. Well, so that's where you guys go when the super shots kick off. You know, you'll pick up at these parts and continue your quest to quell these whispers that you hear on the horizons. But yeah, thank you guys for playing. Thank you for campaign 2.
Nope.
We love you.
Yeah.
We love you all.
It's very good.
And yeah, this should be great.
No, thank you, Tim. Obviously, it's been great you running it all. So I appreciate everything you've done.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
we'll
thank you
let
for an
everybody
amazing
know here
adventure.
on the Instagrams and the Facebooks and the Discords when we kick off. The next party will be Pete will be running Saltmarsh, which should be fun, and it all happens in High Flops. It all happens during this timeline. So at some point, I don't know what happens in Saltmarsh, which is fantastic, but our characters will arrive in Saltmarsh where Pete is going to abuse me continually. Charmed from Old World Charm will pick up Into the Abyss is happening right now with a bunch of halflings that are apparently we're going to a circus right now is all we know. We're in a circus. So we don't know what's going to unfold there. And
Nothing could go wrong.
for the Wednesday night session, that group of people will all start out in a prison cell as they got either too drunk during this wedding. They'll start out in a prison cell, and then they'll be off to a homebrewed version of Paladin. A nice, potentially wintry adventure in the poor town of Phandalin. So
Phandalin just
that
gets
should
the
be
rocky end of
fun.
everything.
And then, oh, what's that?
I said Phandalin gets just the rocky
That's
end in this group.
And then we have a Euro version of this happening. I don't know what night they picked, which will be our early mornings, but Judgy will be running a campaign that will, I can only say, I'll just give you a trailer version of the Anarok Desert. and Iron. Yeah, as that one unfolds. So there's four parties rolling out there, and then all of this crew will do super shots for every level. It'll be about a 3-session campaign with it'll be 2 to 3 members, right? Max with a DM, 2 to 3 members, because they're so high powered. We'll go
Right.
off and do the things. But yeah,
Sweet.
yeah, should be great. Oh, I'm so excited that you found the Well of Many Worlds. As soon as that popped into my head and it said DM can do whatever, I was like, and Sir Tim as a buddy.
And mic drop.
Sir Tim as a buddy. That's like, you can't summon your own help.
Well, you get to decide what happens when you pick that portion up.
Summon your own help. That's the God.
Well, to be fair, he's in that seat right now, so I mean,
Yeah. Hey, I'm in the railroad seat. Choo choo. All right. Well, let's see who's rateable.
We've got Charm Fantasy.
I forgot how to.
Guild Superior.
Oh yeah. Okay. 100%.
Who? Charm?
We'll go get Charm going. You know what I mean? Yeah, we'll get Charm.
Yeah.
First go, yeah.
you know, real quick is I actually tuned into Charm's live stream last night, and as soon as I popped in chat and said hello, he like welcomed me as Hist for Talkins, and I was just like,
Oh, that's
yes,
awesome.
that's exactly what I wanted from this. He was like,
Yeah.
"Wasn't that's great?"
It's
I was
even
like,
better
Jeez.
when we all make it to GaryCon. Man, I'm telling you, the best feeling is when we like next year, when we're playing like the level, when all these new characters level 8 or we do a super shot at a table there. So highly recommend one of our super shots. I book a table for the Stronghold. That's probably what we'll do, and then Pete can haze me at the table. So we'll run just like Jay does, where we'll put like a minimum of two of us with a DM, right? And then we'll bring in 2 other people to play as well.
And hopefully next year I'll be at GaryCon with you guys.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'll book our tables to run sessions, and it's a blast when you can bring Stronghold stuff there, because then when they're there, they can watch this and their characters are NPCs or whatever playing along. So it just builds a bigger community.
Exactly.
And gets people kind of buying and stuff like that. But all right. Want to raid Old World Charm, sir? I love you all. Thank you so much. Another book to go in here. It's yeah.
And I'm
so
going to
fun.
roll
So fun.
our
all the friends we've made along the way.
I'm going to roll our new logo reveal video beforehand, so stick around for that.
Let's do that.
Hey.
I haven't seen it.
So
Let's do
see
that.
you guys next time, and see ya with Charmed. See ya.